Right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another segment with Nate Hale. I am your host, Doc Bryant, and we're going to talk about all kinds of stuff that interests us. And if you don't like it, well, you can change the channel. I don't know. But I have heard from both of our.
To stay on topic.
I'm telling you, I have heard from both of our viewers that they like what they're seeing so far. So we're going to keep going.
So give the people what they want.
Yes,
both of those people.
So
shout out to our two fans.
All right. So you have seen the first two episodes of Rings of Power.
Yes.
What's your overall view of that? And then I'll ask you some questions.
Okay. I'm going to first. I would like to stress that I am by no means an expert on Lord of the Rings. I have read the Lord of the Rings twice, maybe three times. Hobbit, probably about the same. I love them. I love the stories. I love the books. I love the movies. Well, no, scratch that. Love the Lord of the Rings movies. Hobbit movies went a little bit too far afield for me. So I won't get into that now. Otherwise, I could go on for hours about that. But in general, just love everything about it. But I know several people, including my uncle, who know so much about it that they put me to shame. And it's kind of embarrassing that I feel like an idiot when talking to someone like him. So I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that have a whole different perspective because they're much more of an Uber fan than I am. But from my humble perspective of just being a fan in general, I will say that so far I have not been disappointed. I went into it with zero expectations because of how much I've been let down by just about everything recently. Star Wars, Marvel, everybody has been dropping the ball left, right, and center, which has been very frustrating because I thought Star Wars was going to pick back up. I was so impressed with 7. I know a lot of people didn't like 7. They said it was too much like 4, but I humbly disagree. And then 8 was just a punch in the face saying, sit back down. Sorry, it's going to continue to suck, and there's nothing you can do about it. But I will say there have been a couple exceptions. Mandalorian was incredible, I think, and what the hell else? Rogue One. Whoa. Okay, big fan. But anyway, again, this is me getting way off topic. Damn. It's already started. This is what we do. Okay, from my humble perspective, I watched it with complete open mind. Actually, probably closed mind, thinking that it is going to be bad. I thought it was going to be awful, and I've really liked it so far. Again, only 2 episodes in. It's still got plenty of time to disappoint me. But I'm not going to give any spoilers or anything like that to anybody that hasn't seen it yet. I highly recommend giving it at least a shot, because I will say this: right wing, left wing, doesn't matter. Everybody seems like they're always trying to agitate everybody. And so I've seen that there's a lot of stuff out there on the right, quote unquote right, saying that, oh, it's uber woke and uber left and stuff like that. It's like, okay, well, let me see. Because I've heard that before on other things and it hasn't been true. So let me give it a shot on this. I like Lord of the Rings too much not to give it a chance. And again, so far, so good. I will say that Galadriel cast her perfectly. She is, because you know that character, she is a badass. And this actress embodies that. Definitely knocks that out of the park. I will say that I was not thrilled with the casting on a few of the other key characters. One that really stood out for me, and right after the first episode, I told both my wife and my oldest daughter I was happy so far, but this Elrond, they horrible job casting. No offense to the actor who plays him. Don't know him, not familiar with him. It's not that he's a horrible actor. He's just not that part. It is not him. And they got he should be an accountant or playing something along those lines. Not because Elrond is again a badass, and he is weak in this. He just he exudes weakness, and he shouldn't. That is a character that should be right along with Galadriel as far as, I mean, when perfect example, when you see Lord of the Rings and Bilbo first wakes up and you see Elrond for the first time, he just stands there and has this presence. I mean, he just does. And that actor, perfect actor for Elrond. Hell, that would have been pretty badass if they would have got him, because again, elves don't age very much. But it's unfortunate because, and now getting into the negative side I have, which I'm sure you're going to have plenty of things to tell me that I don't know as far as stuff that's coming up. But it was obvious there was the wokeness of the female being the primary, the main, and that's for those of you who don't know, protagonists now, the main protagonist in every story now has to be a woman. Not some, not 50%, but all protagonists in every movie now has to be a woman. I am all for women's rights, and I believe in strong female characters, strong female leads. I can list you literally a billion movies that I love that have a strong female protagonist. I don't have a problem with that. What I have a problem with is force feeding it into every single story, even stories that, stories that it doesn't fit, it doesn't make sense, but they do it anyway. Or hell, remaking movies with all female characters and what was an all male character movie just to say, ha, see, women can do it too. It's like, it's not about that. You're missing the boat on that one. All right, hell, I have no idea where we left off. Apologize for the technical difficulties.
You were saying, let's see, Elrond.
I think it was
coming off as a wuss.
Yeah, and the Hollywood doing this whole, everybody has to be female lead type of thing. They're trying to make up for something, and it's like, damn it, God, it's like with everything in society, they try to force this and force that. It's like, just let it be. If there's a story with a male character that's a lead, then do that. If it's a female character that's a lead, do that. But to force it to always be female is, you're killing stories, and it's unnecessary. But do I think that's the thing here? No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that it is distinctly possible. I will admit that with everything else that is going on with movies and stories and whatnot, that my radar is a little bit sensitive, and I'm slightly getting that vibe. And again, it's not. This story is mainly about, it's mainly following her anyway, at least so far. So, okay, that makes sense. I've got no problem with that. But Elrond plays a pretty key role in it as well. And so he's kind of an important character to get right. And for you to miscast that is not going to be very good. But again, he's not a horrible actor. So, okay, so far so good. And when there hasn't been any like hardcore scenes with him yet, so maybe the dude just busts out when things get rough. I don't know. Maybe he's going to turn into just a total awesome, killer badass when he has to. We haven't gotten to that point. But at the moment, he seems, like a librarian. I mean, he's just he's not who I would have cast for the role. But story-wise, so far so good. I've overheard rumors. Again, I've read nothing to keep my mind as clear as possible as far as other people's opinions on it. But I have overheard through people talking that apparently some of the hardcore fans said that there were some things that were off here or there. I don't know how they know that, because as far as I know, and again, knowledge of it limited, but Lord of the Rings canon, to my knowledge, is only The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. Maybe there's other stuff out there that I don't know about that count towards the canon, but it's I'm enjoying the story. I'm liking so far where it's headed, and yeah, no complaints at the moment. Again, besides that minor casting issue that could correct itself. Who knows? Again, it's only been 2 episodes, but nothing that has overwhelmingly stood out and punched me in the face saying, hey, this is woke and this is how it's going to be, so deal with it. So, okay. So far, not bad.
You are actually one of those people who, at least in the in the realm of Lord of the Rings, you're a normie. You're
A
not
normie.
a normie. That is somebody who does not have an overwhelming knowledge of the canon. So like
I would agree to that.
you would not necessarily be a normie when it comes to like Marvel Comics. You know Marvel Comics more than I do, and I would definitely be a normie when it comes to Marvel Comics.
Well, I
I
won't
had
even
my
claim normie
favorites when I was
status
a
with that.
kid, but
No, but
like
I'm with
X-Men
you
and
there.
Wolverine.
I would still consider myself to be a normie because even though I collected comics for a good amount of time, I am so far out of it now that, I mean, Lord knows, I barely remember the comics that, I mean, I still have, of course, my general knowledge of Wolverine and X-Men, my two primary focuses when I was collecting comics, and a little bit of knowledge of some of the Image comics as well. But yeah, I will still claim normie status on that as well. But so please do explain if there is
But not
additional
with Star
canon. I am
Wars.
all ears.
With
Huh?
Star Wars, neither one of us, as far as Star Wars are concerned, neither one of us are normies. We are
I don't
total
know, man.
nerds.
I'm a total Star Wars nerd, but the Star Wars canon is so huge that I would say normie status on that as well because of how many books that are out there that have been blessed into canon that I have never read. My friend my old friend Brandon was just diehard Star Wars, where he read every book that came out, good, bad, or indifferent. He didn't care who the author was, just because he had to have Star Wars all the time. Now that man knew all.
Well,
So he's the one that
everything that used to be canon, once
right.
Disney bought Star Wars, all of that stuff was renamed as Legends, so that Disney, specifically Kathleen Kennedy, could rewrite canon. So
Yeah,
all of that
go
stuff
for it, Princess.
that we previously knew, like the Timothy Zahn books and a lot of the other books, have been relegated to legend status. Although, because the new canon that they've trying, been pushing in the book series, the New Republic, has been selling so badly that they have recovered a lot of the Legends books and re-released them just so that they can get money off the sales of those to try to float the other stuff. But
To save their butt. Yeah. No, here's the thing.
because you have this normie status with the Lord of the Rings, I'm not going to tell you
Okay.
the
Don't.
stuff because your insight is very unique and valuable, because the guys that I follow on YouTube and so forth, and that I listen to, they're not like uber, Lord of the Rings guys, but
There's
they
just
know
one Uber.
they
One
know
Uber.
a lot. They are one Uber guys, and
Right.
I'm actually like a couple of steps below them, but I know, like, for a long time I used to read The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings starting in May every summer for several years. And I can tell you that yes, there are other books
I did not know
that
that.
do constitute canon, but I'm not going to tell you what they are, and I'm not going to tell you what they say. I'm not going to tell you how this show
Okay.
differs
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm good with that because that way we can do this as the shows
as it goes
continue.
on.
Apparently there's
Yes.
another episode that has come out, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. We haven't
Episode
had a
3
chance to
released
watch.
today.
Well, we haven't had a chance to watch. It's been crazy. We're trying to keep up with it, but I mean, huge family, homeschool. What are you gonna do? I mean, so we're gonna
Yeah.
watch it as we can, and I will be happy to share my thoughts on it. I will. Well, I forgot about this other thing that kind of came up. There seems to be like a little thing between Galadriel and Elrond, and I don't hate it, but I don't know how that would fit, but there seems like there's something. But again, that's the only thing that's kind of twitching the back of my brain a little bit, going, do they really need that, or are they forcing it?
Yeah.
I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see.
I will ask you a couple of questions, because the people that I follow from a canon point of view, they've got problems with it.
All right.
From to a certain extent, from a woke point of view, they have problems, but they have said that the wokeness is the canon problems are so bad that
They
the
ignore
wokeness
the
doesn't
wokeness.
even enter into it.
Okay.
For the most part, with one exception, and I'm not going to tell you what that one exception is.
Got it.
But
Yes.
I will ask you that one of the things that they have stated, that first of all, they have stated that as far as
You're
performance
not going to
are
do any
concerned.
spoilers. Oh, hold on. You're not going to do any spoilers, are you?
No, I'm not going to do any spoilers.
Okay, because you be fair to everybody and let them know ahead of time.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. You've seen it, I haven't. So
no, I'm talking about spoilers for anybody that might not have seen it.
Oh, I don't care. There's only 2 people who are watching this.
That's a good point. They probably have seen it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
go ahead.
But I have heard that the best performances so far, is at least from the actors, the best performances so far have been from the Black Elf and the Black Dwarf. Is that the Black Female Dwarf and the Black Elf? Because everybody, one of the things that Amazon is doing is they're accusing of everybody who dislikes it as being racist. But everybody I've heard have said that the best performances thus far are the Black Elf and the Black Dwarf. And some of the worst performances are from some of the white actors.
I have heard this being used before as far as, all right. I have to preface everything. I believe it or not, and I know there's tons of people that say this. I don't even see it as far as the when I see actors. I mean, it's not you bring up a black elf, and I had to stop and think, and I'm like, oh yeah, the elf, and I know the guy you're talking about. He and again, I don't want to give anything away, but there is a tension moment going on right now with his character. Dude is awesome. Okay, I don't know who he is. I haven't IMDb'd him yet. I might know him. He looks familiar. I don't know, but yes, I will say this: dude is awesome. It's not a character I'm familiar with. He's not in the books, at least that I know of. Again, it's been so long since I've read Lord of the Rings, and there's so many characters that I don't even freaking remember. But he is awesome. Honestly, I don't. And again, this. Yeah, I don't see it.
Disa is her name.
Durin's wife.
Yeah.
Friggin' yes. Okay. I love her. But again, it's one of those things like slap a label on the person this, slap a label on the person that. It's like, hold on, let me think. Oh, okay. Yeah, Durin's wife, dude, stone cold awesome. Okay, love her. And there's a scene when it comes down to it because, and I will say this about, I was kind of picking on, brain gone.
Elrond?
Yeah, Elrond. I was picking on Elrond a good deal, but there's a scene where he, and sorry, spoiler alert. So turn. My family, so leave. And he's like, at least give me, because he's gotten married since they've seen each other. He's like, would you at least give me the ability to apologize to your wife? And as soon as he said that, I knew, score. I was like, that was brilliant. The salesman in him right there. I mean, if anybody who knows sales, done. You just did it, because as soon as he's introduced to the wife, he's like, Elrond, I've heard so much about you. Come in. It's like, no, I can't stay. I really no, you are not going to go. No, he needs to go. No, you're going to stay. I'm like, man, brilliant. That was brilliant. And that whole scene, everything there, I'm just laughing. I'm like, okay, yeah, nailed that. I just nailed that. So yes, she's great. And the elf is also great. So again, all these people who scream, racist this or sexist that, or shut the hell up. God,
yeah.
Dog.
Now the next thing I've heard is that the cinematography from for the exteriors are really good. I have heard that there have been some scenes that were very obviously shot on a surround screen in a sound studio, and it looks like it. Some people have said it looks like bad PlayStation 3
Damn.
graphics.
Yeah, that's bad. Well, at least they didn't say like Super Nintendo. Okay, I'll give them that. I don't think it was detracting. It's definitely something that popped up as far as, I mean, it was noticed. I did notice it, and it was kind of like especially since they spent like $1 zillion on this. You probably expect a little more, but I will also say that because they spent $1 zillion on this, I'm going to give them a little bit of slack. But yes, there were some scenes that were obviously done on like a soundstage or a small set with a surround green screen or whatever, however the hell they do it. But again, to me, I guess I can say that so far the story has got me to where, I mean, that stuff is minor, because again, I hate to. It's good, but I understand from the perspective of if this goes against canon, how people would be upset, because I took please edit that out. I took my daughter to see the Hobbit when it came out, and we saw the first of the three, and I loved it. It was great. And then we saw the next one where they started to stray and skew from the book. I mean, the first one, there's just a little bit. It wasn't horrible. But then the second one, they really started to veer. And then the third one, it's like, what the hell is this? This isn't anything like the book at all. And I was so upset at that I missed the fact that as a movie, as far as an action movie, if I knew nothing about The Hobbit, I would have loved it. And I know that. I acknowledge that. Disappointed that I was not as enthralled and that I did not enjoy.
That's within 10 seconds. I'm just saying. Yeah,
I know. It's I needed an electric shock collar or something. Maybe that might help. But no, I acknowledge the fact that as an action movie, if it was not tied to The Hobbit, I would have loved it. I would have loved it. The third movie. It was great action. The acting was great. I'm an action nerd as far as, I mean, things blow up. What was that old saying? Do you remember somebody said people died and things blew up real good or something like that? I can't.
People died and shit blew up real good.
Yeah, something like that. And that's the way it was. And to that point, I acknowledge that it was a good film. But as far as it following The Hobbit, it did not, and it really pissed me off. Actual anger, because they did the Lord of the Rings so well and they stuck to it so closely. Now, did they have everything that was in the books? No, there's no way you could, not without making like 9 films, and they didn't have the ability to do that. In the amount of films that they did, they got as close as humanly possible to the books as they could, whether it be cinematography, whether it be the outfits, the actors, the actions, everything about everything. The best way to sum it up is, it's almost like the director sucked the image out of my brain and put it onto the screen. Yeah. When he first meets Strider in the inn, that scene, exactly the way I pictured it.
Just like the way I imagined it.
When the 9 go to slaughter them in their beds and they're not there, just the way I pictured it. My favorite scene of all time with Gandalf and the Balrog. Exactly the way I pictured it. I mean, when I think about it in the book, when I think about the scene in the movie, I mean, I get all misty, because that is like one of my most powerful scenes ever out of all of the whether it be The Hobbit, The Lord of the Rings, anything. I love that scene more than anything, and it was just the way that I pictured it. I fell in mad love with those movies because I've never in my life, I've read plenty of books that they turned into movies. I've never in my life seen someone stick so close, and it was unbelievable. I didn't know it was possible. They did it. And then when The Hobbit came out, I just stupid me got overly excited too quick. And then after seeing the first one, again, love the casting, love who they got. I was worried about like the was it chip the glasses, crack the plates? It's like, how are they going to put that in a movie? And they did. Was the scene a little bit goofy? Okay, a little bit goofy, but it's a goofy song. And then the Misty Mountains song. I mean, again, wipe a tear from my eye is beautiful. So I had high hopes, and then it really let me down. So I totally get if this story is stepping all over what is known to be canon, then I get how that can really anger somebody. So I guess I'm blissfully ignorant to it, and at the moment, at least from a political perspective, as far as unfortunately the left trying to put their agenda into anything and everything instead of just letting things be stories. So far, maybe a dabble here or there, totally acceptable amount of BS, because it's minor stuff. And even then, it might not even be. It might just be my sensitivity level, because Lord knows I am sensitive to it. But at the moment, yeah, the story so far so good. But sorry, brother, you got me rambling again. That was, I think, question 1 out of God knows how many questions you have for me on this.
No, I mean, and I'm right there with the Peter Jackson Hobbit movies, except after the first movie, I haven't seen the second or third, because the first movie deviated so far that I was just like, okay, if this is the direction they're headed, I just lost interest. I didn't get ticked off.
Well,
I was just like, when I want to know, when I want to see The Hobbit, I just read the books again.
Don't watch the second and third, because honestly, I thought the first was it did deviate. It didn't kill me. But second and third, if the first bothered you, don't even give it a shot, man. Second pulled a decent amount away, and the third was just completely off the reservation. So, and I mean, I love Orlando Bloom. I love Legolas. What the hell is he doing in the story? He wasn't in the damn book. Why are you putting him in?
He wasn't in the story, and the absolute
the love between the elf and the
ridiculous romance between the elf and the dwarf. No, it's just no. No. And when I saw that, I was just like, the hell are they doing here? And then with the running, chasing, and shooting thing at the end, I'm like, that ain't in the book either. That ain't in the book either.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that. Yeah, the escape.
Now, I did see, and I guess this was from the second film.
Yeah.
I did see the scene where between Bilbo and Smaug.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's all right.
That scene, and that was really good. But of course, you got Benedict Cumberbatch playing
as
the dragon.
Smaug. Yeah,
and I think he did a really good job.
Well, it's Benedict Cumberbatch. I mean, he could be anything. It doesn't matter what he does, and it would be awesome. But I will say this: the scene was pretty good, and again, until it strayed, because that scene right there is one of those important scenes. Like when Bilbo first meets Smeagol, it's so critical to the story, and so when they did that scene, they did that really well. But I was looking forward to the scene with Smaug, and it was okay, and then it wasn't, because again I'm watching this, I'm like, that didn't happen. Why is that didn't happen? There's so much in the book that they didn't cover that they could have. Why are they adding things that weren't there? Yeah. They didn't do that in Lord of the Rings. I mean, there are little things that made sense that they had to do because of the stuff that they had to leave out. But in this, it's almost like they intentionally left stuff out and then intentionally added this other crap because they thought it would be cool, like that romance and like the other things. It's like, no, none of that was necessary. All the drama in Lake Town, it's like, that unnecessary. I mean, it was unnecessary, and it's like they were trying to void fill when there was no void. So I don't know if they couldn't come up with it good enough for 3 movies. They damn sure could have come up with enough stuff for 2.
For 2, easy.
But I don't know. Maybe money. I don't know. Don't know.
Probably. So that's the only 2 questions really that I had, because those are the only 2 real complaints, or well, those were the only 2 comments that I got. The main complaint, other than the canon stuff, is that it's just boring. And a lot of people, pretty much everybody that I have listened to, have said they've called it Lord of the Ambien. And there have been a couple of guys that have said, I watched the movie and then I had to get up and go get something, and then I came back and still nothing was going on, and then I had to get up and then I came back and still nothing was going on. So apparently there's a lot of dialogue or something.
I don't think there's any more than should be. Honestly, I get the fact that this is a story that's building up to something. I mean, is it nonstop, action-packed, 24/7? No, but a good story shouldn't be. I mean, you need to be able to build these characters up and give them a little bit of heart and story, and in order to fall in love with them. I mean, not a lot of people that are going to be watching this show have no clue who any of these characters are. So while a hardcore fan, you'd be able to just jump right in and nonstop action, barely any dialogue, you'd know what was going on. But a lot of people aren't gonna know, so they need a little bit of a build up, character development. And I disagree. I mean, again, I think there's a lot of people that are just going to be pissed off to be pissed off. If it's canon, then be pissed at the canon. But as far as that, I disagree. Is it? To me, it's got that feel of it's working up to something. Now, have I been disappointed in the past as far as with stories and shows where there's a build up and you can feel it, and then it keeps being a build up and keeps being a build up, and then it's the end of season 1 and you're like, what the hell was that? Definitely happened. But hell, we're two shows into it. You can't tell me that it's like, oh, this is boring. I just no, I'm not. I don't see that personally.
Okay. All right. And again, I'm not going to tell you anything because I don't have access to this. You're the first normie that, so now I have access to how a normie sees things, and that's good. And now other people, both of the people who listen to this, are going to have access to it too. And thank you both for watching.
We appreciate it.
Yes. All right. All right. What else were we going to talk about?
Heck, I don't know. We lost the Queen.
Yeah.
I don't know what to talk about there except that what I was predicting, which was, again, I don't know a whole lot about the Queen. I have no issue with her. She seems like a very pleasant and adorable person. I love the thing they did with her and James Bond for the what was that, the Olympics? That was pretty awesome. But I know nothing about the British royalty. I know nothing about the politics because it's none of my bloody business. But I will say that it's pretty badass that she ruled for 70 years. And I say ruled. I understand that position is more of a figurehead position. But when she came into power, how many prime ministers? 15. I think she reigned over 15 prime ministers. And was it Churchill? I think was the first prime minister when she took office. If that doesn't tell you how long she was in power, and for as I've read a couple things lately, because of how long she was in power, she's the only ruler that almost all of Britain has ever known, and longest ruling monarch, at least for them. I mean, I don't know about the world, but so it's sad that she's gone. At least I feel sad, but I predicted that the internet would blow up with a bunch of really evil people saying a bunch of really evil things. And sure enough, it's like when Margaret Thatcher died,
Yeah.
there was no end of just I don't know I don't know how else to say it other than just pure evil. I mean, it is the nastiness that comes from the. There are people that I dislike, strongly dislike, especially in our politics here in the United States. I don't wish any of them harm. I don't wish any of them dead. And if they did happen to die, I'm not going to say the horrible things that these people are saying because I don't feel that. I don't. I mean, some of the I'm so glad the evil person is dead. I hope that they suffered. It's like who who feels that way? Who wishes that amount of pain on somebody? I mean, from my experience, having argued with many a leftist who claim that we on the right are just so evil and hateful and bigoted and just, I mean, these mean, nasty people. When I see things like this, is it all the time from the left? No. Don't there are definitely bad people on the right too. There's no doubt about that. But the scum, the putrid slime that rise to the surface when something like this happens, it is mind-boggling to me because I honestly don't understand it. So when we were talking about it yesterday, I told my family, it's like, I remember what happened when Margaret Thatcher died, so just be looking on the internet for this sort of thing. And I was hoping it wouldn't happen because so many people at first were saying such nice things, and then all the rest of the crap started coming out. Again, I don't know her. I don't know her politics. But I mean, some of the things people were saying as far as this empire that ruled over this, and it's like, when? I mean, I'm sorry, but England, the England colonies, that and their rule and oppression over a majority of the world was a long time before her time, Jack. Now, if she did any atrocities during her 70 years, I'm not familiar with it, and forgive my ignorance. But even if she was not the best person in the world, she damn sure doesn't deserve all of the things that are being said about her online right now. That I'm certain of.
Well, that's your those are your basically Marxists. These are the people that are adherents to critical theory, and critical theory is based in Marxism, and it states that you have a group of people who are permanently, by their very nature, and in our case, skin color, oppressors. And then there are those who are the oppressed. And there are tiers to both of these, to where the absolute worst oppressor, bar none, is white Christian males.
Heterosexual white Christian males.
Heterosexual white Christian males, right. And then your most oppressed person is your transsexual, lesbian, furry from Canadian from Zimbabwe or Haiti, a Haitian Canadian transsexual furry. And those are like, but basically, whatever the oppressor does, no matter if it's a good thing or a bad thing, and to what degree, it's always bad.
Right.
And no matter what the oppressed do, good or bad, it's always good.
Right.
And these are the same people, like you pointed out, who crawled out of the woodwork for
Margaret Thatcher.
Margaret Thatcher when she died, and more recently when Rush Limbaugh died. These are the same filth that come out to spew their vitriol and stuff. And unfortunately, they held a very large place in our media. Not so much anymore, I'm very happy to say.
We'll see. Sith are hiding.
Oh no, this is the nobody, they still are in our media. They're still in CNBC, MSNBC, CBS, ABC, NBC, CNN, all of those alphabet soup, organizations, networks, but nobody's watching them anymore. Like CNN is being revamped to be the way that it was like during the first Gulf War. Okay, to just do straight news.
Just reporting? Just reporting on the news?
Just straight news reporting. And already a lot of because they fired a lot. The only hardcore ideologue that they haven't fired yet is Don Lemon. And that's because he's a gay black man. But they fired everybody else as far as the ideologues. And the people who are there now, with the exception of Don Lemon, and even Don Lemon, I think, have started just straight up reporting. And you've got the lunatics on Twitter just howling how CNN, and I'm not kidding, has gone MAGA.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that.
They are. It's all over the place. CNN, they're traitors, and they've gone MAGA. And now MSNBC is still, they're completely jacked up. But again, just like this show, there's only 2 people that watch them.
Wow.
So I'm not overly worried about it. And then you've got, and Fox News has actually started going that direction, towards the left. People aren't watching Fox News. But
I stopped right after the election.
I think that just the era of the 24-hour news network is pretty much over anyway, because I don't know about you, but I don't get my news from them anymore. When I get my news from select individuals on YouTube, and secondly from select outlets that I go to look at, like Breitbart is one of them. But oddly enough, I also go to Politico. Oh, yeah. Because I want to see what those guys are thinking and what those guys are saying. So I like to get a smattering of both sides. But so those lunatics that celebrate other people's deaths and wish suffering on them and stuff, and that kind of stuff, they're going to be there anyway. And thankfully, hardly anybody's listening to them anymore. So, tear your ass, go ahead, and plus the fact that whatever you say doesn't mean jack anyway, because she was 96. She passed, as far as I know, she passed rather peacefully. And England still has a long road to hoe, because Boris Johnson stepped down, but he was replaced by a female knucklehead who's just as bad as he is, if not worse.
I heard she was conservative.
And Charles, who I was under the understanding that Charles was out of the running.
No, they changed that a while ago.
Okay, yeah, Charles is going to be king or I guess is king. I don't know if he's had his coronation because I don't keep up with that shit. The way that I look at it, we got rid of them 200 some odd years ago. They don't mean anything to me. We don't have royalty over here.
I heard the same thing as far as he like way back back when he was with Diana, I think, or maybe just after.
It was just after.
I just know it was a long time ago. There was something, and again, I'm not over there. I can't swear to it, and I guarantee the news they get about us is always crap. So the news we get about them is probably crap. But it was my understanding that the Queen said that when she stepped down, it wasn't going to Charles. But then I heard something about that either not being the case, or she changed her mind after he calmed down. Because he has mellowed. I mean, the man's like in his 70s, so obviously he's going to chill out a little bit. I mean, he's still a flat Earth no growther, but I don't know how vocal he's going to be. I'm not too worried about him.
I think he's going to sit back and enjoy his posh circumstances.
Most likely. I know nothing about the new prime minister. I thought it was very interesting that the Queen was out of public eye for a long time. And then Boris is going to resign. So she decides, you know what, I'm going to get dressed up just so I can take that man's resignation. It's like, so not knowing anything about this woman, hats off to her for that. But this new lady that, again, I don't know anything about her, but it's my understanding that she was a conservative. She was her parents apparently leftist. She says that she remembers as a child going to anti-Margaret Thatcher rallies, but that she grew up and changed to a conservative. So what the British definition of a conservative is, I don't know.
Boris Johnson was theoretically a conservative too.
Are you
serious?
He was
actually supposed to be their version of Trump. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, no judgment, UK. You do you. That's okay. Wow.
Some of my best friends are Brits.
Man, that's unfortunate for them. Okay,
I could be wrong. I could be. I don't know.
Again, I don't know anything about their politics. I have enough of a hard time wrapping my brain around ours. So, and I'm
what they do matters so little these days anyway.
Well, to me, it's more about, like I love when you get on Twitter and things like that, when you've got people from overseas talking about how things are going over here, and you know what you should do. It's like, okay, shut up. Appreciate the outside perspective, but you don't have a clue. The bottom line is, and I know I don't want to be the big American who talks like we don't know anything. It's not about that. And I challenge you, whoever is listening that happens to not be an American, to speak to anybody that has become a citizen, who is outside the United States and has now become a citizen, their perspective on how their eyes are open, because you don't know until you hear. Just like us as stupid Americans, I will say, we don't know what it's like to live where you are. We've been wrapped in this, I will say, faux cloak of freedom for so long that we don't understand what it's like to not be free. We have these idiots running around being stupid because they have the freedom to be stupid idiots, and that soldiers have died for the dumb things that the people here do that are now taken for granted. And it is, from an outside perspective, people look at us and they see this overindulgent, entitled society. And guess what? You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
But we had to bust our ass to become so. We had to fight, and so many people had to fight and die for us to be the overindulgent society that we are. Who I can't remember who said it. I think this quote was actually misattributed, but hard times create strong men create good times, or prosperous times, something along those lines. Prosperous times create weak men, and weak men create hard times, and it's a cycle. And we are now in the part of that cycle where these we're getting into the hard times. We're just now scratching the surface of hard times because of how weak that our society has become. Our enemies are now taking an advantage of this fact, and it would be very easy for enemies of the state to do great harm to our country right now, and that is an unfortunate thing. But we are a distinct and unique society that has managed to give our people the freedom to be as dumb and stupid as they want to be. And we're not the only quote unquote free society in the world. I'm very aware of that. But the level of stupidity and freedom that we have allotted to this group of rebels is unparalleled in the world. And so, yes, international people, you do not understand. And until you come over here and live here and are a part of it, not visit, but you actually have to be a part of it, will you grasp it? And hopefully, it is something that we won't let go of too lightly. But I am fearful for our future at the moment. But again, there I go on one of my stupid rants, just off into the wild blue yonder.
Well, I am going to be that American.
Be that American.
I am going to be that American, and I'm going to say, if you have anything to say about the way that we do things here in the United States, all you got to do is go 2-0 in consecutive world wars, and we can talk.
Okay.
Because right now we hold both belts.
I will
both belts.
I will say this. We were actually talking about this today because when the Queen died and we brought up Churchill, I will say that while the Americans came in as the heavy in World War II, we are by no means the reason that Hitler did not take over the world. That goes to the Brits. And I will say that Winston Churchill single-handedly saved the entire world. And if not for him, everything would have crumbled. We begrudgingly came in way late to a battle that we should have been engaged in from the get-go, and could have saved Lord knows how many lives. We had, forgive me for all the people who worship FDR, but a stupid president who did a lot of stupid things, including after World War II, with the way everything was handled. What's up?
Especially after World War II.
Yeah, after World War II. And that's another thing that Churchill was begging FDR. It's like, don't do this. And FDR's like, no, we're America. We're going to do this, and everything's going to be okay. And it's like, oh, God. And completely screwed up Eastern Europe. I mean, and again, that was the big heavy-handed Americans coming in and saying this is the way it's going to be done. Unfortunately, the ruler at the time was not the brightest bulb, and things were not handled well. So hats off to the Brits, the UK, and they were the last bastion of hope for a while when all of Europe fell, when they allowed Hitler to slow roll over Europe. He got.
I will say that they pitched a good game. Well into like the sixth inning even.
Shit.
But they were starting to. We did a good job on cleanup.
Oh, I'm not saying that we didn't, but damn, a day late and a dollar short.
They would not have been able to have pulled off Normandy and then finishing off the Germans. That wouldn't have happened without us.
Not arguing that. My argument is that we waited way too long.
Oh, I agree.
Winston Churchill was the only man holding them off, and he warned them after World War I. Winston Churchill was screaming at the top of his lungs that, hey, look over here, look what's going to happen. And they just beat him up. They're like, oh, you're crazy, you're this, you're that, you're a conspiracy theorist, whatever the hell, they called those people back then who were actually right. And then after the writing was on the wall, or more importantly, the shit is hitting the fan, they look at him, they're like, hey, can you take over real quick? Because everything you said is actually happening. It's like,
Yeah.
and so he holds him off as long as he can. No, but then, yes, as we do, we're over here just chilling. And that's what we do. We're high and mighty. We are full of ourselves. We're entitled. And
it can't touch us. So we're like, it's not our problem.
And like every dumbass terrorist thinks that they're going to put the fear of God into us. And I love Japan as a culture. I used to work for a Japanese company. Love it with all my heart. While it was an incredible feat, it was an unimaginable task. But the attack on Pearl Harbor was probably one of the stupidest things that they could have ever done. Because the way the U.S. works, you don't intimidate us, you don't scare us into submission, you lull us to sleep. That's how it works. We are a sleeping bear who are happy to stay asleep. Just leave us alone. You do what you're going to do. We're going to do what we're going to do. Just shut up and go away. But the second you do something like that, because they think we're going to make this bold statement, we're going to do something that was damn near impossible, should not have been able to accomplish, they did it. Hats off to you. Probably shouldn't have, because you probably would have gotten away with a lot more crap if you just would have stayed over there. But you pissed us off. You got us into the fight. And we came over there and kicked all your asses.
Now you're screwed. When we get into the fight's over.
And it's no different than the terrorists with September 11th. They're like, we're going to strike this mighty blow against the U.S. and they are going to cower down at our feet. It's like, this is what people across the world, again, that they don't get, because there is this mindset over a majority of the world where if a terrorist strikes down at you, that you just cower down and go, yes, okay, whatever you need, just stop hitting me and I'll give you whatever you want. That is true for a majority of the countries of the world. And if I'm wrong, prove it. But this is why terrorists are able to get away with what they get away with. They do something like this. It was a crippling blow that they should have never been able to accomplish. But again, it was an impossible feat that they did. They sucker punched us, and they hit us hard. They hit us.
I believe they had a little help.
Oh no, I'm sure that they did. We won't get into that right now. But again, with the ideal that we have shown them what we can do. They will cower before us, and we will be feared, and blah 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 blah. They pissed us off so bad that it's like you don't understand. No other country, no one, definitely terrorists, don't understand the American mindset, where it's like we are and have always been the rebels of the world. We're not the ones that shy away from a fight. We're the ones that you have to grab by the arm and pull back and go, no, don't beat him up. Come on, no, sit back down. It's, again, one of the dumbest things that you can do. By doing that, you just woke up a beast that you will not be able to control. And again, what ended up happening after that is the beast fell asleep. Again, because they left the beast alone for long enough. And so now we're vulnerable again because we've been sleeping for too long. So I hope to God that the United States wakes up, and they wake up without having to be sucker punched, without having a loss of life, without having too much damage or destruction to either physical or emotional, or even just the state of our union. I hope that we don't have to lose too much for us to wake up and smell the roses and see what's going on, because I've got this feeling that something's around the corner, and the country is going to wake up. It is going to wake up. I think
that, and while we're on that particular subject, I think that the same thing has happened, that the enemies of the United States have crossed a line that they're going to wish they hadn't. But the enemies that I'm talking about are the enemies domestic. And with that red speech that Brandon gave,
Okay, we're gonna have to do a whole segment on that. We
Yeah,
have to do a whole segment on that.
yeah, and I might. I mean, if you're available, I might have you on tomorrow night.
Let's see what we can do. I don't. We got a pretty crazy weekend coming up, so I don't
Okay.
know. But I would like to because it looks like we're getting a little bit long on time, so we might have uh, to cut it for tonight. But I want to keep going because both of our listeners really want to hear what we have to say about this because this is getting really interesting. And
Yeah.
no, I hear what you're saying though, and to your point, no, I 100% agree with you because the while Trump wasn't able to empty the swamp, one of the things he was able to do was drain it just enough to where we could see the critters at the bottom,
Hmm.
and they're showing their
Well, it
faces.
scared them. It scared them, and so they had to. They overextended themselves because they were afraid, and they're doing the same thing again because they're afraid again. And remember how I told you how I was starting to get to the point where I don't even really believe in blue cities anymore, let alone blue states, because of the report that I heard coming from Detroit that 50% of the mail-in ballots were fraudulent.
Right.
I just heard another report. I think it was earlier this week about some more cheating that was going on. And I believe it was in Detroit, but I can't remember. But it's in one of these theoretically thick blue, cities. And again, I was just like, if they're having to cheat that hard to hang on to those cities, while at the same time you've got these Soros-backed DAs
DAs.
that are letting people out into the streets, there's going to be some kickback from the voters. Even the voters there
Hmm.
are not going to put up with this for very much longer.
I
Now
hope
in
not.
California, they've got the situation rigged for the moment, but I think even that is starting to crumble when you've got uh, a city like San Francisco that is
Voting out.
recalling people
Yeah.
who are hardcore leftists in San Francisco.
Yep.
It's starting to crumble.
Nancy Pelosi's backyard, baby.
Yeah, it's starting to, and then Los Angeles, the same thing. Their DA just narrowly, and he had to cheat to do it. He narrowly defeated a recall, and he had to cheat in order to defeat that recall.
Same crap with
He's not
Newsom.
going to be able to do that again because the next time is just going to be a straight up election.
They seem to
And
do just fine at cheating on elections, so we'll see.
I don't know. I think if the liberals have had enough, because once the crime gets bad enough that the liberals can't earn a living, because I'm telling you, the homeless folks ain't voting, the illegal immigrants aren't voting. And what's really funny, and this is another thing that I heard, which is really funny, is that the Hispanic illegals that are coming up, they're conservative. They are leaving those socialist crap holes, and they came to the United States to get away from that stuff. So they're finding out, the Democrats are finding out, well, they aren't voting for us either. That wasn't the plan.
Yeah.
We got to get us some Haitians.
No, no, I'm sorry. Haitians after the Clinton scandal, Haitians aren't going to
Oh
be voting
yeah.
Democrat either.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's another thing. It's another thing that I heard. Hillary Clinton apparently has stated unequivocally
She will not run.
she's done. She will not run. I don't know. We'll see. They might not have anybody else. Now I've heard that what's her name? The governor from Michigan. I heard that she's thinking about throwing her hat in the ring.
Who the
You've
hell's
also
she?
got Newsom,
Oh,
who's a
please,
possibility.
please, Newsom. Yes.
Either one of them would be
Oh,
fine.
what's his name's daughter? McCain.
Meghan McCain, I don't think she's going to do it.
Oh, I hope she does. I hope she does.
I think if she does anything, I don't think she will, but if she does anything, I think she's going to be one of the rhinos that's going to cross over to the new
The new
Republican Party or the
Democrat.
new Democrat Party.
Yeah. No, I saw that too, and we were actually talking about that yesterday. As far as the definitely not going to run, that's bullcrap. They've got no bench. They have no bench. It's the first time in my lifetime seeing a confused Democratic Party that isn't in lockstep behind one person was this last election. They had no clue who was going to win. When the Democrats who were rigging it, and yes, I'm a denier, during the primary, it's like they couldn't decide. The backbone, the establishment could not decide who the hell are we going to run as the primary was going, because they kept changing which horse they were backing based off of whichever way the wind was blowing. It was funny because whichever way the poll was going, all of a sudden the DNC starts pushing that person. And then the polls go the other way, and they're like, "Oh no, we mean this person. Oh no." And then Biden,
but
they're like,
they knew they didn't want Bernie.
No, they didn't want Bernie. And I can't believe that the people that are backing Bernie aren't more pissed, because they folded Bernie twice now, and they rolled him over in the clover, man. And why are they not standing up and saying, "Hey, this is crap"? Because that was crap. If I was a Bernie supporter and I saw the way that they ran him over, man. I'd be mad, but you don't hear anything from them. But it's still there's no lockstep anymore, which was the first sign that I saw where it's like, ooh, maybe things are starting to come unglued over there, because usually they have a plan. They know who the next heir apparent. They know who's going to be elected next. It was going to be Hillary, and then when it wasn't, they're like, crap, what do we do? And this last election, it's like they didn't know, and so
and again they don't know.
No, again that's the thing. They're looking. They're like, nobody likes him. Maybe we can blame a lot of stuff on him, and maybe we can get him out of office.
No, they don't like him. That's another reason why I'm really very interested to see what's going to happen after these midterms, because he's dragging them down, and I mean down ballot stuff too. Down ballot stuff, and they're like,
he's not, because he's not
guy.
there. How is he dragging anyone down when it's not him? The man has a teleprompter that he can barely read.
No, but I mean because of him, or more to the point, because of his staffers.
Okay.
Because of the people behind him.
Okay.
Are causing so much damage to the economy and to crime, etc. It's making all the other Democrats look bad. They just this past week they did the man on the street interviews in New York City, and they were talking about how bad they hated Joe Biden. These are New Yorkers. And they were saying, yeah, it's the economy and that freaking Biden and this, that, and the other thing. And they're just this, that, and he's dirty. Some of them even talking about, I don't know, maybe he didn't win the election. And I'm just like, whoa.
Yeah, I tell you what, man.
If it's happening in New York, it's happening in San Francisco, it's happening in Detroit.
Who knows?
And this is why they have no choice. They got to fall back. They've got to redefine themselves. They got to find somebody to blame. And the nearest somebody is sitting in the White House right now. And like you said, because this is another issue that they're trying to push for two reasons. The media is trying to push the age issue.
Oh, yeah.
They're trying to push the age issue so that they can, first of all, have a reason to maybe put Joe up as a sacrificial lamb.
Yeah.
And say, because I'm telling you, all it's going to take is one or two Democrats in the Senate. One or two Democrats in the Senate. It's all it's going to take. If it comes to impeachment, I don't think they have to have 2/3. They might have to have 2/3, but either way, if they've got enough, and if the Democrats are sick of him enough, they can go, oh, well, we've been convinced and we've seen enough, but they're pushing that angle because just so that he can't run again, period.
Yeah.
If he makes it through. and he does finish out, which I'm not even sure he's going to be able to do for health reasons.
Not with the way that he's been going. It's been pretty sad. It's been pretty sad.
So even if he makes it through, they're not going to let him run again just for health for age.
Right.
But the other reason they're pushing the age issue is for Trump. They can say, well, we don't want, and Trump's just about as old as he is, or Trump will be as old as he was when he was elected.
Little bit of a difference. Listen to both of them speak.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, don't get me wrong. Trump can go off sometimes where it's like, oh man, but at least he's speaking coherently. He might be going on a train of thought that, well, I mean, who am I to talk? Because Lord knows I'd drift off. But yeah, that's a load of crap. Biden's definitely got dementia. They're definitely going to try to pin whatever.
They're talking about it on CNN and MSNBC now. They're openly stating, yeah, he didn't seem all there for that speech.
You can't. They can't hide it anymore. They can't be like, oh no, that's normal. Oh, because they were always like, oh, he misspoke, or oh, he stuttered this out, or oh, he didn't mean to do that, or he wasn't trying to shake the hand of an invisible person. You can only hide it so long when it's every single time he's in front of the camera.
Yeah,
he's obviously,
and he's the president of the United States. It's not like when he was running that they could keep him in the basement.
Keep him in a basement
away from the press.
Yeah, can't do it anymore.
Can't do that. They tried that, and the press noticed, hey, we haven't heard from him in like 6 weeks. Where is he?
He's on another vacation.
Yeah, and so they got to trot him out. They got to shoot him full of drugs, trot him out.
Like I said before, I feel sorry for him. I mean, the man was a POS all through his political career, so I don't feel sorry for that coherent Joe Biden who was a POS. I feel sorry for this current, obviously not old there, mentally unstable elderly gentleman who they're taking advantage of.
They're taking advantage. His own damn wife is taking advantage of him. That's the thing.
Here's another. This is another example as far as these people saying.
You're starting to cut out. Yep, I think we lost him.